I need to tell the truth about where I'm at with building a home Inc. Part of what has made this week hard is simple. It's not making money yet. And if I'm not careful, I start letting the fact speak louder than the calling itself. I start acting like if it were really from God, really my assignment, really worth building, it would have already been paying me. But that is not actually the truth. I've only been doing it for 8 months. And in those 8 months, I've learned, grown, and changed. The truth is, there are some things that are real before they are profitable. Some assignments are true before they are proven in revenue. And I think a lot of people quit their calling too early because they confuse lack of money with lack of meaning. Here's the buried thing for me. I know I have to do this, but when it is not making money, I'm tempted to doubt it. Not because I think money is everything, but because money feels like validation, which in the marketplace, that is 100% accurate. The thing is, most YouTube experts will tell you that it takes at least 1 to 3 years before you start being profitable. And so, it feels like proof. It feels like external confirmation that the work is real, which it is. So when money is absent, fear starts talking. Maybe this is not it. Maybe I'm behind. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe I should have more proof by now. That is the real tension. Hey guys, my name is Thomas Emmanuel Orms. I'm the president and co-founder of Building a Home Inc. Very happy to have you guys here with us. As you know, every week we do a weekly introduction of ourselves because we understand that our verbiage is very unique to us. All of the frameworks that we tackle are done through what is known as the BHI framework. That's something that took several years of contemplation through psychology, neuroscience, history, philosophy, economics, and value creation, all rooted in ancient Near Eastern scripture. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, what the heck does any of that mean? I'm glad you asked. We have a full, free, over 1 hour introduction of who we are, why we're here in our school. I would ask that you please go there, check it out. It is for free. It is a community that we are looking to build and strive for greatness together. But that is a very detailed breakdown explanation of our mindset and our philosophy while we tackle these topics. Now, I always will give some information about myself. As I said, the president and co-founder here. I'm also a former drug addict and alcoholic. I'm a rehabilitated habitual liar. I spent the last 10 years in the financial services industry, and for the last 20 years I was being raised to become a messianic rabbi until 2022. I made a suicide attempt, obviously survived, and it took a little bit of time, but eventually I left all of that behind. I was in desperate need for the truth and meaning in life outside of religion. Now, we are a theistic company. I do believe, for the most part, in the God of the Bible as the universal force of love expressed perfectly in the person of Jesus. Now, do I have my doubts? Absolutely. Am I 100% certain? No. But I think that at least, bare minimum, we have to be anti-religion. And religion is this: man defining God for you versus a relationship which is God defining himself to you. And because my calling is something that is so near and dear to my heart, I have to go beyond speaking to my tribe and try to assess and communicate the universal truths for every human being. My personal mission is to eradicate all suicidal ideation across the globe in my lifetime. On top of that, I want the young men out there, the boys who never thought they would amount to anything, know they have worth, who never thought that they were loved, to know they are loved, who never thought that their voice deserved being heard, to be heard. And I believe that is the true redemption of all pain and suffering, and that is in service of every other human being on the planet. So, I'm so glad you're here with us. Please stay tuned. I'd love to see you over in Skool. And back to the video. So what is actually true? What is true is this. I'm not done with the framework myself. I am still in process. My wife and I are serving as the proof of concept. All of the things that we discuss and all of our topic structure is not anything that hasn't been discussed before. The only thing that we believe is that we've brought it all together in a unique way. But regardless, though, I'm not even my own finished product. And so when I do these videos, I do it as a journey of discovery. As I'm learning, I want to bring each and every single one of you with me. And so I'm still the proof of concept in motion. Now, I'm so happy of the fact that I'm on my way to being the person that I want and need to be. And I'm certainly better than I was before. And it's really a beautiful feeling to go from someone who didn't think I had the permission to dream, who didn't think I had the permission to have a vision, to be able to become financially free, to become an entrepreneurial professional, to have a calling, and to have a goal beyond myself that could give me the life of my dreams and my greatest imaginations. It's a great feeling knowing that we're already on our way there. But this matters because our standard, BHI's standard, is clear. And we go by what we call the Deloney rule, which, if you've been here before, you know Dr. John Deloney, in my opinion, is one of the greatest psychologists of our time. And he talks about experience and mastery, which is do not teach what you have not proved. And I think obviously that is super important if you want to be a person who is truthful and honorable and has the capacity to provide real value without being a fake internet guru, which is really hard to tell in 2026, honestly. But it's do not teach what you have not proved. And so to share what you are practicing and to use an apprentice voice, not expert posturing. And I'm a student of the mind, and I am in the direction, like I said, of the person that I want and need to be. So this video is not, I have already built the vassalage of the kingdom. It is, here is the guaranteed formula. This video is, I know this is my assignment, and I'm still living inside the proving ground. And that is a huge difference. So I want to talk about why money can distort calling. Now, make no mistake, I'm not reducing the importance nor significance of money as a tool. It is very, very important. And money is a real metric. It matters. It reveals whether value is being received in the marketplace over time. So BHI's internal strategy is not anti-money. That'd be stupid. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. That's why we're for-profit and not a non-profit organization. And I'm not knocking non-profits, but that's not our goal, right? But what it is anti-fantasy. It says the truth about numbers, rhythm, measurable reality, and sustainable outcomes. But money is not the first question. The current BHI purpose framework says purpose is not a feeling to chase. It is a structure to align. I'm sure you've heard of that entrepreneurial quote that's been floating around the internet for quite some time now, and that is, you do not fail to your habits. You fail based on the quality of systems, of structure, right? And so what that is, it is the reality tested expression of identity, responsibility, skill, and value creation, but that has to be under truth, wisdom, and covenant. And so that means lack of money may tell you something important, especially if you're starting off just like I am right now. But this does not automatically tell you the calling is false. Sometimes it tells you you are early. You are still building skill. You are still building trust. The market takes time to respond to value creation because the market understands consistency and discipline, right? And so another thing could be is the proof needs more reps, or the structure is still catching up to the vision. The capacity for you to build systems and put them in place is not yet at the skill required to meet your ultimate vision, which that's okay. It is part of the process, part of the journey. And so that is different from this is fake. The honest diagnosis. So what is real stewardship here? Real stewardship is this: I practice what I preach. I keep building the house. I keep getting my body, my money, my marriage, and my schedule into better order. I keep telling the truth. I keep publishing. I keep refining. The inverse of that would be what is fear, pressure, and self-judgment. That is, using the lack of money as a verdict on my identity. Using the early stages as proof of failure, right? Which is counterintuitive because it hasn't been out long enough for the market to make proper evaluation, right? Or number 3, using the gap between vision and revenue as evidence that the mission is not real. And that is where distortion enters, because the problem is not only financial, it's interpretive. So, based off of the latest psychology and neuroscience, we go based off of our believed story. Every human being is operating off of a story right now, and that is deeply rooted in the cited work of the most brilliant psychologists and neurologists around the world. I don't have the time to get into all of it right now, but the story that you are telling yourself is the reality in which you are living. Now, do I believe there to be objective truths? 100%. But the truth within your story is also so very important. This is what I know for certain. And it's simple. I have to do this. Not because it is easy, not because it is already paying, not because I have fully embodied every room of the BHI home framework, but because this is the work that I'm called to carry. The purpose paper says personal purpose is the particular burden, people, lane, and work entrusted to you. while seasonal purpose is simply the most truthful act of obedience right now. That is where I am. I do not need to prove the entirety of the future this week. All I need to do is the next truthful brick. That's why our motto is brick by brick. You've heard me say it many times. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. So I encourage you, don't stop. Keep going. Your worst day is the day that you need to show up for your freedom. So, the correction for me is this. I cannot let revenue become lord over calling. Money matters. Traction matters. Reality matters. Measurable progress matters. But money cannot become the sole interpreter of whether something is mine to build. Because if I do that, I'll only obey what pays fast. That is how people abandon real assignments. The YouTube blueprint says the integrity code is this: principle, process, proof, and promise. So you cannot present principle as proof, but do not pretend that process is finished. So the honest statement for anyone who feels like they are supposed to be doing more or are in the process of becoming more is this: your calling is real. Your monetization might not be mature yet, but if your proof is still being built, all you have to do is show up every week, every day, every hour, every moment. That tension you feel is fear of the unknown, fear of not being worthy, fear that you don't have capacity. But that's all fear is. The thing you need to face on the way to the person that you need to become. True courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in spite of fear. No more preparation, no more the next video, no more self-help. Just do it, like Nike. Take that next step that you know you're supposed to take. See what happens. So my next brick this week is not dramatic. It is show up and do it anyway. This goes for you too. Tell the truth. Keep building. Keep practicing. Keep publishing. Keep becoming the man who can carry the thing he says he is called to build. There's this quote that I heard, and it is, give yourself grace on your way to becoming a person you've never been before. It seems difficult because you're doing something that hasn't been done yet. But that is the mark of every champion. That is the mark of every hero. Because the end result is worth the pain and the patience. And for anybody watching this who is in the same place, maybe your next step is not to quit the assignment. Maybe your next step is to separate these two questions. Is this really my calling? Or has this matured into revenue yet? Those are not the same question. So this is where I'm at. Building a Home Inc. is not paying me yet. I'm still in process. I'm still the proof of concept in motion. And yes, that can mess with your head if you let it. But I know this much. I have to do this. And I cannot let lack of money make me betray what I know is mine to build. So if you're in a season where the thing feels real, but it's not fruitful yet, do not lie to yourself in either direction. Do not romanticize it. Do not fake traction. Do not call fantasy calling. But also, do not let slow fruit convince you to abandon real work too early. Tell the truth. Tell the next brick. Build anyway. Brick by brick. This is Thomas Emmanuel Orms, soon to be O'Brien. See you on the next one. Love you guys.